Alright, I am live. Welcome to Hanging with Dave. This is episode 12. This is a little live stream that I do every weekend. Welcome to Hanging with Dave. This is episode 12. Sorry about that, guys. I forgot to turn off my my audio on my desktop there. But this little show that I do every week, every Saturday, 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I go over a few news articles that came out in the past week or so. Then I do a Q&A at the end. You know, I go down through the comments that's been left on my videos and whatnot through the week. This is a tech show. You know, I talk about tech and I build computers and I do overclocking and I do a little bit of that kind of stuff. If you like that kind of content, you stumbled upon the right channel. Make sure you give me a thumbs up or give me a thumbs down. In the comment section, I'll cover in next week's video. There's that chat over there if you'd like to use it. It should be showing up. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. That way you're notified next time I put out a video or I go live. A few disclaimers for the show. I do enjoy me a cold Budweiser. This is my day off, you know, so I do drink a little bit of alcohol. Just forewarned, I am a truck driver by trade, so I do have a little bit of bad language going on from time to time. So you may hear a cuss word or a dirty word or something like that may slip out of my mouth. I try to keep that under control. But it does happen from time to time, so you've been warned. CES was this week. Now, there was a few announcements that were made. Nothing too impressive, I don't think. Nothing that I've seen of anyways. I've been trying to watch some of the other guys on YouTube and whatnot, see what all they've been talking about. But there hasn't been nothing there that's really impressed me a whole lot. A couple cool looking cases came out. And AMD with their Ryzen 4000 mobile APUs. Nothing about the desktop for Ryzen 4000, but they do have the APUs for the mobile side of things, which we're going to talk about today. Also ran across an article for a RTX2060 XT. They say it's supposed to be the top of the rule of the 1080p gaming, which EVGA's got a 2060 coming out, which I'm going to cover that as well for about the same price. So, you know, of course that 5600 XT, we'll have to wait and see what kind of benchmarks it puts up. So I guess we can go ahead and get into it here. Alright, first thing up we're going to talk about is the 5600 XT. I kind of talked about the 5600 last week. It is an Navi GPU. It's the XT version instead of just the 5600. It's got the CUs of 36. It is the texture units 144. The ROPS is 64. Base clock is questionable. They got it listed as 1235. Game clock's 1375. Boost clock's 1560. It runs 6 gigs. I don't know why they didn't do 8 gigs, but they only put 6 gigs on this one. The bus is up a little bit, depending on which card you're looking at to compare it to. It runs a 192-bit bus on it. 150 watt power draw on the whole board. It is a Navi 10. It's coming out here in about 10 days. I guess it's supposed to be launching on 1/21. It's going for $279. I don't know if I put the links in the description yet or not, but I'm going to get them put down there for you guys. You know, I mean, it's, I don't know. If you pull up the article's from, who's this article from? Anandtech. You know, it's saying it's supposed to have more performance and whatnot. You know, 5700 is supposed to be for 1440 gaming. The ultimate 1080p gaming is the 5600. 55 is for the 1080p. So, you're looking at, about 29% more power on the 5600 over the 5500. And the 5700 is supposed to be 56% more powerful than the 5500 series GPU. Of course, this is just, we do have a release date and all that on it, but it's till you get the guys that coming out that gets these things handed to them. They can do the benchmarking on it. It's still kind of with the grain of salt, if you ask me. I guess by what I've read in here, the 5600 XT is supposed to be going up against the GTX2060 series. So, about the same performance of the 1660, I reckon. Another news on this, EVGA is coming out with an RTX2060 KO, which is launching at $279, which is the same price as that one. Of course, the RTX2060 is a more powerful card. It's kind of more on the line of the 5700. But they're going to be launching the 2060 KO for $279. This is from Techtader. You can see the articles through. And they're listed as the same price as the AMD 5600 XT. And of course, if they actually do this, the 2060 at $279 is going to be a lot better deal, because you're going to be getting performance equal to the 5700, which 56 XT shouldn't be too far behind the 5700. So if there wasn't enough complications in the entry level or the mid-range graphics cards, there's a couple more to throw into the mix to try to confuse you a little bit more. You're looking at $250, $300 graphics cards. It's just I don't know, these guys hitting this market pretty good anymore. Of course, that's where a lot of people spending the money is, so I kind of can't blame them for that one. Like I mentioned earlier, we also have AMD. They announced the AMD Ryzen 4000 mobile APUs. These here is kind of pretty impressive to me. They're on 7 nanometer. They're 8 cores with a 15 watt and 45 watt. And most laptops, you're lucky to get to a dual core with a hyper-threading or a SMT in it, let alone 8 core 16 threads. Unless you go into the higher section of the gaming computers, gaming laptops. Eight core 16 threads almost unheard of in a laptop. And it's because of the heat restraints. But this thing's supposed to be boosting up to 4.2 boost and a 1.8 gigahertz base clock. 8 Radeon cores. Never did really read down through here to see what kind of what Vega graphics they was putting in them, but I believe there was going to be a Vega graphics. I believe. I could be wrong on that one. It may be a Navi. But I'm just curious, if they're being able to put these kind of core counts, the top of the line's the Ryzen 7 4800U. Like I was saying, if they're being able to put 8 core 16 threads with a base frequency of 1800 and turbo frequency up to 4200, into a laptop, what's their desktop's going to be like? It's just surprising. You look down through the SKUs, you got 8 and 16, then you got 4700U that's 8 and 8. Then you got 4600, it's a 6 core 12 thread. You got 4500U, which is 6 core 6 thread. So there ain't no SMT on the ones that, straight across there. Ryzen 3 4300U, which is a 4 core 4 thread port. But, these things is, I don't know. I mean, they're putting these things in a mobile. I'm kind of anxious to see what they can do with the desktop. There wasn't no information about the desktop, which I know is what a lot of people are interested in with the Ryzen 4000 series coming up. But they didn't even mention them as far as I know. Of But some of these, I mean, they're putting this kind of power into a laptop. I can just imagine what the desktop particles are gonna end up having. That's about it for the news for this week. That's about my limit. I got quite a few comments to go through here with you guys for today. So let's jump into the comments and see if I can get some of these answers here. And of course, like always, I'll go back and type to them. And again, like always, I ain't very good with names. So if I butcher your name, if you left me a comment and I butcher your name, I apologize up front over it. Me and names just don't correspond very well. But let's see what we got here. We got Gaming Sign. Honestly, thank you. I honestly think you pushed it too far. Safety, I was able to overclock my 2200G on the Gigabyte B350, GPU up to 1350 MHz, CPU is still at stock speeds, with keeping voltage to auto. I live in a warm environment and use a stock cooler, so I don't push it too hard at all. I don't want it to run hot or risk killing my CPU. It's understandable. Also, games I play put the GPU to 100% usage and the CPU was still around 85 to 90%. That's why I only overclock my GPU and keep the CPU at stock. That was on how to overclock the Ryzen 5 2400G on the Gigabyte B450M DS3H motherboard port 3. It depends on your use case with this. He's talking about overclocking the GPU instead of the CPU side of things. He says GPU was hitting 100%, the CPU still hitting 85 to 90%. That 85 to 90% on CPU can still be kind of holding your GPU back, because you don't have enough of a CPU leadway there. You know what I mean? It's hitting that CPU pretty hard. But as long as you're happy with that, the performance you're getting out of it, the way you got it set up, sounds about right to me. He said he thinks I pushed mine too far. I tried staying within the specs. So if I'm remembering, it's been a while since I did that video. But I tried staying within the specs that AMD recommends. But thanks for watching and thanks for the comment. Qualify. When I go to update my BIOS and I press the update, it says UEFI instead of system volume information. And I can't update it because I don't see the file on the right side. Could you please help me with this? I've been trying for ages. And that was on how to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450 DS3H motherboard. When I go to update my BIOS and I press update, it says UEFI instead of system volume information. That shouldn't make too much of a deal if it says UEFI instead of the system volume information. I can't update it because I don't see the file on the right side. If the file ain't showing up on the right side, you may have to double click on the file on the left side of the screen and it should show up over there. Normally it shows up automatically. Either that or you didn't unzip the file before putting it on your flash drive. If you didn't unzip it, I try to unzip the BIOS file and then put it on your flash drive. That should make it to where it shows up for you can update that BIOS on that one. Alright, then we got Yusuf Mohand 3 days ago. He sends a link to his motherboard. This is my motherboard and I can't go for more than 2 gigs of RAM. 2 gigabytes. Why? I want to add 4 gigs to my VRAM for my RAM, but I can't. The only thing I can go for it is 2 gigabytes of VRAM. How can I add more? And that was on how to dedicate more RAM to your Ryzen integrated graphics on the Gigabyte B450 DS3H. By looking at his motherboard here, I actually pulled it up and actually looked at it. And a lot of this depends on your on the BIOS. And by looking at this one here, by what he's running, that's a Gigabyte B450M gaming. I believe this is one of the more expensive motherboards. It seems like everything Newegg's got the MSI instead of the Gigabyte ones. Hold on a second here, guys. Let's get this thing pulled up right here. Gigabyte. Gigabyte B450 Gaming X. Yeah, that's a $250 motherboard by what Newegg's got it for. Of course, that's coming from Asia. That seems like that's one of the more higher end motherboards, and usually they won't give you inside the BIOS, they won't give you the option to upgrade that VRAM for your APU very much, because if you're spending that kind of money on a motherboard, they're going to expect you to be, using a discrete GPU. But it goes back to the BIOS. I try to update the BIOS, see if that would help you out with that. But like I said, that's one of the higher end motherboards, so they probably won't give you a whole lot because they don't expect many people to be putting an APU in them things. I know I probably don't clarify much for you, but I try that BIOS update and see if that does any good. The other thing is it's just too much of an expensive motherboard to give you much of an option for your APUs. I want to say that's probably the problem. But thanks for watching and thanks for the comment. George Spencer, good video. You need more views. You should use Cinments.com. I've been using it on my main channel to promote my videos. No, I don't think I need to use anything like that. More or less you gotta pay money to get people to view your videos. If I was going to do that, I just use AdSense and have YouTube publish my videos. I'd pay YouTube to put them up for people for suggestions. But I don't believe that I'm going to be doing that anytime soon either. I'd rather just let the channel grow naturally. Thanks for saying that I need more views. And thanks for enjoying the video. That was on, I think that was last week's talk show. Or live stream there. I was on one of the Hanging Out, episode 7. Sorry about that, headphone users. But nah, I don't see me using anything like that to try to promote my channel. I don't pay for any kind of advertisement for my videos. I want it to grow naturally. But thanks for watching. Thanks for the comment. Let's see here. We got Luty Soares. Says, nice video. Thank you, Dave. You helped me a lot. Well, you're welcome. That was on how to update the B450 DS3H motherboard BIOS for Ryzen 3000 CPU. I'm glad I could help you out. And thanks for liking the video, and I'm glad I could help you. Thanks for watching in the comment. We got Area Jody, I guess. Thank you very much. Very cool video. I had to do this update twice because F50 needs the F42 to be installed and I only had F41. but the process is same and easy. Thank you. You're welcome. I'm glad that was on how to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450 DS3H motherboard. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the comment. I'm glad I could help you, and it is fairly easy to update the BIOSes anymore. It's a lot easier than what it used to be, and it's pretty hard to mess it up anymore compared to what it was back in the day when I got started. Let's see here. 80 Brian. Hey Dave, I have the B450. I have the 450 Pro Wi-Fi board. It boots to the BIOS but not Windows. What do you think is wrong? That was on how to update the BIOS on the Gigabyte B450 DS3H motherboard. It boots into the BIOS but not Windows. There could be a couple different things that are causing this. If you can get into your BIOS, make sure it's recognizing your hard drive, or whatever your drive solution is. If it's an SSD, if it's an M.2, if it's an NVMe, if it's a spinning rush drive, whatever it may be, make sure it's being recognized in your BIOS. Your BIOS may not be recognizing the boot drive. If it is a SATA drive, check your connections. Make sure they're connected to the. And if you do have an NVMe drive in that system, in most motherboards, when you put an NVMe drive into it, it will disable some of the SATA ports. So if you got an NVMe drive in there, make sure you don't have your other drives plugged into where your the disabled SATA ports. But boots into the BIOS. Sounds like it's a working system, just not into Windows. I mean, without actually seeing the BIOS and making sure your drives is detected in your BIOS, that'd be the best starting point for you. So that's about the best I can help you with that one. But thanks for watching. Thanks for the comment. What's this one? Weejix. 2 hours ago. Just recently purchased the Corsair Vengeance 2x8 3200 megahertz, and it came on 2667 megahertz. And when I type in the number into the system memory multiplier to overclock it, it just sets it to 800 megahertz when I click enter. That was on how to overclock your RAM on the Gigabyte B450 motherboard. I'd make sure that you're typing it in correctly. It's been a while since I've been in there messing with that RAM. I'm gonna have to do I'll go into my BIOS and see what's up with that one, and maybe try to type in back some better answers than what I got right off the top of my head. Because I know there's a certain way you got to type it in. If you don't type it in quite right, it kicks it to some oddball number like that. So I'll have to check into my BIOS and get back to you on that one. But I'll definitely look into it and I'll type them back the proper answer. But thanks for the video. Thanks for watching and thanks for the comment. Bernard Riggins. Dave, how to overclock my RAM 2666 megahertz on this motherboard. And that was on how to overclock your RAM with a Gigabyte B450 MDS3H motherboard. And again, I'll have to go into the BIOS and actually look to see how to do that. I thought I had a pretty good video there on how to overclock the RAM with that motherboard, but apparently maybe I didn't do my job well enough on that one. But I'll have to, and again, I'll go into my BIOS and refresh my memory on how to do that, and then I'll type these guys back. But thanks for watching, and thanks for the comment, Bernard. And I think that's pretty well it for the comments for this week. About all I got. I think that one may have been a spam, but It'll be alright. I answered the guy anyways. Let's refresh here and see. I'm just kind of looking, guys, make sure I don't have no new comments came in since it started here. There's nothing in chat. That's about all I've got. Alright, guys, so I guess that's going to pretty well wrap it up for today's episode. I did my tech news that I had, my few articles that I had, I did my Q&A. I'm working on next week's video, talking about this week's video. That's another one I'd like to go over here today. Here's, I think this was last week I answered this one from Brian Leakey. Says overclocking is nice in Windows, but it's always best to do this in the BIOS. And I said, it is better to be able to overclock in the BIOS, but sometimes you can get better results from software overclocking. Thanks for watching the comment. He came back and said, at Dave's Techway, what? This is not true. You will always get better results from the BIOS. You are going right to the source of the components. You know, and even in that comment, I told him that he was right. It's best to do it on the BIOS level. But the video coming out Wednesday, I'm working on getting it filmed and getting it edited out this morning. Probably have to finish it up tomorrow. But I'm going to reply back to him with the link to the video once I get it done. I'm going to give him a first shot to look at it before it goes live. But yeah, that's this week's video coming up. Is discussing overclocking video, overclocking your CPU via BIOS or via software. But yeah, that was another comment that I had. You know, he kind of replied back to my comment that I left him. But that's going to wrap it up for today. I don't like keeping you guys too long. And there ain't a whole lot of Q&A going on, so I'm going to call it a day. Make sure you hit that thumbs up if you liked the video. Hit that thumbs down if you didn't. There's that comment section. I'll go through them every week here on my live show. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way you're notified next time I go put out a video. I'll go live here on YouTube. And with that being said, you all have a good day. And I'll see you in the next video or next live stream, whichever way. Have a good weekend.